We've been doing movie nights for
years.
Gen Xer and
Gen Z.
I hate these ones because they're blue. I hate those, formal uniforms because they're white. Who makes a formal uniform white? Somebody get me in touch with the costume director.
And he crashes them.
Yes, you do. I'm very much in that transition period between, teenage years and adult years. Mm-hmm. Random weird moments that the two of us have experienced, and there are a lot of those.
That's the thing. I don't think we have to leave that behind when we're grown.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's I'm just sitting there and I'm like, where did this come from? Why are we singing?
I mean, you're not going to learn anything about the movies listening to us talk. This is the Argo City Podcast. Film, conventions, and fan life with Maddie and Matthew.
And we have returned. That's gotta be.
You have thoughts.
We just finished, and you essentially told me to shut up and put my thoughts on here when we finish. I'm screw actually talking about this movie. This thing was amazing. I went into this completely
You went in cold and not sure what I was showing you. This was going to be something stupid.
But it's the opposite. Somehow this is the most brilliant thing ever. Do you remember when we were watching through what was it? What was it called? Your weird anime with all the Japanese references and such.
Oh, Excel Saga.
Excel Saga, yes. That reminds me a little bit of this because it's playing on all of the tropes of all of these things.
It doesn't look like it should be something, and it turns into more of that thing than it actually is.
And it's this movie was incredible. Like I said, I was very in and out at the beginning, but once I immediately hooked onto these characters in this scenario, and it's realistically, I can kind of see, I don't know what I would be doing if I was an actor stuck on a spaceship expected to perform a role. I'm panicking and laughing along with these characters and cheering them on, and this movie is incredible.
At some point here, we should probably explain. Tonight we watched Galaxy Quest. And you know what? The reason we watched Galaxy Quest tonight was because we've gotten to the point in Robotech where the Zentradi, the alien creatures, the giants, they're pirating human television signals.
They're trying to figure out what is happening with all the singing and the dancing.
Min-Mei singing, and then they catch Lynn Kyle's karate movie, and the aliens are so confused because they don't have anything like this. And I'm like, you know what? It's time. It's time to do Galaxy Quest.
This movie was so good! Oh my gosh,
And you know what? The thing is, it shouldn't be, or maybe it's do you expect me to think this is this good? Okay. We have to go back to first fandoms. Mm-hmm. Because you've mentioned to me before, your first fandom is The Simpsons. That's one of the earlier ones that you remember latching onto. Pokemon maybe too.
I would say Pokemon would be my first one. At least that was the first major hyperfixation.
Mm-hmm. You've mentioned The Simpsons with that as well. There's been others as well. If we want to go back to my first fandom, my real first fandom, it's Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Star Trek before Superman.
Really?
And that's saying something. But, see, the thing is, I watched superhero cartoons when I was a kid. I watched Super Friends, and I did love superheroes. But it was still kid stuff at that point. The first one that I really remember getting into where I'm buying the manuals and looking up stuff and trying to understand stuff. It's Star Trek, and I was too young at that point. I couldn't read through like the books.
Yeah.
Because Star Trek, when I was a adolescent, 11, 12 years old, it's not on the air anymore. It's only in movies once every 3 or 4 years. The reruns are still on the show, but if you want something new, you'd have to read the books. And the books were too big. They're too thick.
We gotta eventually do the audiobook of that.
Yeah, we're gonna go through Kobayashi Maru. We actually are. This will be something that you'll probably only see it on the Argo City channel because Spreaker, the podcast channel, limits us. But we're gonna do some of that stuff too. But as I'm entering into it, I'm still kind of a child, and an adult novel is hard.
Yeah. That's
300 pages with a lot of words that I might not know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could get occasionally through some of the novelizations of the episodes. Like, James Blish did these marvelous little thin books.
I've seen these. You have a lot of these in your library.
They have the most amazing cover art, too.
That is gorgeous.
So I could read through these, but what I was reading a lot of was the comic books.
Ooh.
Like, I would go to the drugstore, and there'd be a spinner rack, and I could get the latest Star Trek comic.
Aww.
And that's something that as a kid I could read. Fun fact, around that time they were being written by Mike Barr. And Mike then, later on in my adult life, was part of the same comic book club that I was in. So I got to know him a little bit. I got to be acquainted with him. We actually didn't get along. But you know what? It's kind of cool that I got to actually know the person who really ushered me into that. So from comics would go to these books, and then I'd get to the novels.
No,
I credit that and comics as part of what led me into reading as such a big part of my life. And anybody that knows me knows I'm going to read 200 books a year.
At the moment, we are currently sitting in our living room recording this, and to his left, he has a giant stack of, like, comic books and all sorts of stuff, so...
And frequently, we're recording from my actual library.
Yeah, it is.
And my library is... I mean, there's films, there's toys, and there's too, but there's books, so many books.
Mm-hmm. But no, I can kind of relate to that, at least in the sense of Pokemon, because I remember, because really thinking back, I didn't really have any Simpsons stuff. I didn't really buy anything. Pokemon was different because I was buying the tins with the cards, and I was getting the merch and the figures, and I specifically remember you and me found a Jigglypuff a while back at a convention. I dressed up as a Jigglypuff.
I made you a Jigglypuff costume.
Don't ask me how he did it, but he did it, and everybody adored it. But
you know what? You were fortunate, too. You had merch. Because in the 80s, there's no Star Trek merch. There are no Star Trek toys. Yeah. There are no Star Trek... well, you could buy spaceships. You could buy, like, the role-playing game spaceships. Mm-hmm. And those were made out of lead or pewter and cost, like, $10 or $15 each. In the 80s... Like, when Micro Machines put them out in plastic, I bought every one of them. Oh. Every one of them. I still buy every one of them.
But no, this getting back to the...
Well, it's relevant.
That's
because
true.
This is a satire.
Yeah,
this is like a comedy version of Star Trek.
But
I should hate that.
Yes, but it doesn't make fun of it. In fact, it's leaning into the jokes. It is like it's doing it in a way that's not rude. It's doing it in a way like, oh, haha, let's laugh at this because this references this funny thing, or let's pay homage to this. And it's like,
no, they get it. They know it. They are so into the lore. And again, this is kind of where I keep wanting to come back to Simpsons because the Simpsons understands satire versus parody. So, and I'll tell you what the difference is between those two things. With satire, you're in on the joke. With parody, they're just making fun of you. I've always looked at like The Big Bang Theory as parody. I frequently feel like I'm being attacked, like I'm being made fun of. But with this is satire. I am in on the joke. In fact, there's jokes here that are just for me. Like, I would grab you and like, this is an homage to something. This is referencing this.
Yeah.
This is referencing this. They get it. They're so respectful. It's like, okay, I'm okay with this ride because it's not in canon. Mm-hmm. And you obviously love the source material. So let me give you, let's do a quick rundown. So Galaxy Quest is, what if aliens caught our broadcasts of old Star Trek reruns and thought it was real and thought it was the actual, like, historical records and kidnapped the actors?
What if they came for us to help?
Yes.
When we can't really do anything.
And so we have the actors who are put in that position, and they've got to save a whole race. And again, this is better Star Trek than some Star Trek that's out there.
I keep saying over and over and over again just how good this is. Mm-hmm. It's, with a lot of the sci-fi stuff, it's sometimes hard for me to get into it. With Star Trek, it's not usually as bad because at least I'm able to latch onto some sort of thing in it.
Right, and it's designed that way. It really is.
But like with this, you're seeing both the actors panicking. You're seeing these... Can we just talk about these costumes? I legitimately, with some of the stuff, like, let's say you've shown me quite a lot of Doctor Who, with especially with, like, some of the earlier Doctor Who. It's like, I can look at that and I can see a person in a suit. Legitimately, until you told me, I didn't realize that those monsters and aliens, I didn't realize that they weren't CGI. Because they are done so well.
A lot of cable work. A lot of
insane.
Remote work. The headpieces, even like shoulder pieces that are just moving subtly.
It's like, I'm terrified of these things, but they're amazing. The set design is amazing. They go through the whole thing where they contact the kid that has like the...
At some point, Captain Kirk bumped into a kid and they exchanged communicators, fake one for a real one. So... one of the fanboys has an actual real communicator. This comes in. Like, you look at me like, are we going to resolve that later? You could see Chekhov's gun right in that moment. You really could.
And these kids, they are helping them by knowing the ins and outs of this ship, and they're helping our heroes as they're trying to, turn off the whole detonator in the ship. And it's like... They're looking at these diagrams on their computers, and I am here for every second of it.
And it's like, if I want to be funny, I want to say I'm personally attacked here, because I've looked at you and said, like, I can close my eyes, and I can walk through the Enterprise, especially the movie era Enterprise. That's the one. That's mine. I can walk through that. I know where to go. Yeah. And these kids know where to go. Now, this is like 1996, I think. Mm-hmm. So it's early internet. There's no cell phones. So a communicator is still... it's a thing. And the fact that they're activating that is just wild.
I can't overstate how much I adored seeing them going back and forth with the kid, like having to go take out the trash and then run back in because they're in the middle of a dangerous situation. It's like, dude, this is so cool. And I was saying this the entire time. I am rooting for these kids. I love these kids. I love this. The fans have so much more power than they can imagine. Like,
you know what? Put a pin in that, because I want to talk about that in a little while. I really do. Let's look at the ship again, because like all the spaceships, the spaceship designs are amazing, and the Protectorate, the Galaxy Quest ship. I mean, this looks like it's straight out of Star Trek.
Yeah.
I look at the stuff in the cargo bay. It's the normal bric-a-brac that you normally see there.
It's so cool. The hallways and even the elevators, like,
the backlit stuff. And then we've figured out the aliens have basically designed their ship by watching the TV show, so it works the way that what they've seen on TV, including like stuff like, I don't know, food.
Yeah.
Oh, food.
Oh, poor guy.
So our Mr. Spock guy,
our poor Snape, he is like, he's given a giant thing of bugs, and I'm sitting there like, oh, you poor thing.
It is so funny because, like, especially since if it actually had been Spock's, the Vulcans are vegetarians.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
And you know what? You mentioned that, but I know that I specifically remember it from one of the books. But you know what? I also can cross-reference that from one of the comics. And, like, they sussed out a fake Vulcan by the fact that she was eating meat. She's got a steak or something like. So it's got to be a thing somewhere in there. But
we're just
like,
not sure, like, which
yeah,
one.
if he'd actually been a Vulcan, he would have just been handed a salad.
At least he could have eaten a salad.
There's a great moment in Carmen Carter's Dreams of the Raven. So Spock's eating his salad, and McCoy's lost his memory, and he's commenting on it. And then he sees this weird cup of orange stuff that Spock is drinking.
Uh-oh.
And he's like, what? And Spock's like, this is a combination of beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is actually one of the ingredients, along with a couple of other nutrients, specifically for my human-Vulcan hybrid physiology. You and I created it together. You dubbed it orange sludge and suggested I drink it once a week.
What?
And McCoy just looks at it like, oh, I hope that tastes better than it looks. Spock reply is, you considered it a noxious substance, but after a few tries, we created a blend that I find acceptable.
He didn't remember doing that?
Well, it's a memory, an amnesia story. But, you know, it's that back and forth that it just... And I kind of feel like we see that here. Because it's that camaraderie is there. Also some of the antagonistic between some of the actors. Kirk and Spock did have a little bit of friction.
Aww.
Shatner and Nimoy did have some problems with each other during the run of the show.
Oh, way to take the rose-colored glasses off me.
Well, and that's why the movie kind of tries to portray some of that, because the movie really is. It's looking at Star Trek as a whole, whether it's Next Generation or original series or whatever. But we point out, like, oh, they're pulling mines. That's straight from Deep Space Nine, even.
Yeah.
But Shatner and Nimoy, like, Shatner was the star of the show.
Yeah.
Except Nimoy got more and more popular. Oh. There was some jealousy going on. Sometimes Shatner would literally count lines in a script. And we see them talking about that in the movie. Like,
Scene Stealer.
Snape saying, Scene Stealer, you stole every good line.
I got you to say Snape too.
They're enhancing it. They're exaggerating it. And it's perfect because it acknowledges the reality of it. Again, It's like whoever wrote this loves the series. They know all this stuff. They're pointing it out. Daryl Chill Mitchell. I'm a big fan of Daryl Mitchell from John Larroquette's solo TV show, but he's gone on and done tons of stuff as well. He was in The Walking Dead for a while, even.
Oh.
This is back when he was young and healthy. He was in a car accident, and he's confined to a wheelchair now, and he's still acting.
Oh, poor guy. But good for him.
Literally doing The Walking Dead in a wheelchair, and it's brilliant.
How would you...
That's the way the character is.
Heck, I am totally down for that. Totally.
I love
disabled
Daryl.
representation. Love that.
I absolutely love Daryl. Now, he's playing basically Wesley Crusher in this. He's playing the kid genius at the helm.
Right.
Now, I don't care for Will Wheaton. I found to be a bit of a jerk, and I don't like his politics. But Will Wheaton, who played Wesley Crusher, it's like he's. I just don't care for him. I know a lot of fandom has embraced him. I haven't, because I think he's just not a good person. But that's just a personal opinion. But I will give Will real props for this. When he was playing Wesley Crusher, he took it dead serious, and Will is a fan.
That's always good. You always want your actors to be fans of the media they're in.
Absolutely is. We watched Daryl as his character trying to fly the ship, and I looked at him like, Will could have done that, because when Will was flying the Enterprise, he assigned each button a function. He figured out what was on his board and decided this does this, this does this, this does this. So he was consistent through the entire series. I really do appreciate that about him.
Yeah.
I give him great props for that. So the idea, if aliens created a ship around his hand motions, Will could have flown that ship.
Yeah.
Daryl had to do homework. Daryl had to go back and watch old episodes to figure out what he was doing. Will could have sat in that seat and he would have flown that ship straight out.
Yeah, like I know they did something similar when we watched a Doctor Who documentary a while back.
Yes.
And specifically with the first Doctor and him talking about how each button on the console had a different use.
He's like,
and like him
the rotor time rotor has to be going up
like
and down
him
because we're in
fighting,
flight.
like him fighting with the director to be like, no,
Absolutely.
I can't do this on this side. I have to do it on this side.
Yep.
And it's like, no.
John Nathan Turner, who basically was the producer through like the last Tom Baker Scarf season, all the way through the end, he was about that too.
Aww.
He wanted to make sure that, look, if you were to walk into the TARDIS just as a normal person, you probably couldn't fly it, but you would know how to open the doors, and you would know how to activate the view screen. Those certain buttons, certain simple functions would always stay the same. And that's really what applies to this movie. The aliens watched the crew. They watched their hand motions, they watched where they went, they watched what they did, and they designed the ship to function that way.
Like how they took notice of the fact that the ship never blows up, it always has a second left.
Yes.
I thought that was hilarious.
I will say, on that note, Galaxy Quest has kind of like the fan's worst nightmare.
Huh?
The series, the TV series in story,
Yeah.
it ends on a cliffhanger.
What?
That's what we started off when they opened up the movie. We see the end of the episode, and it says to be continued. That's the last episode.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's so horrifying, isn't it?
No. But they started it up again at the end of the movie, though.
Yes, so they got their next generation.
Oh, dude, I don't like it when shows do that. I yell at you every time you give me something with a cliffhanger.
I know. We just it's not even with a cliffhanger. We just finished Lois and Clark.
And we're watching season 2
Lois
next week, right?
Superman and Lois. And we finished the season.
And
we got a resolution.
And we're watching season 2 next week, right? The answer is no. He's going to torture me.
Can we talk about the aliens a little bit, too?
I guess.
There's the aliens, like they look human unless their holographic emitter is not working.
Yeah, but they're also not quite human. They're like standing almost ballerina posture with their arms, and they're like hobbling,
Isn't this such great performance from all these people?
It's wonderful. I loved watching them, especially when we got the big group shots of them in the background. Yeah. It's hilarious.
You like notice them clapping, like they clap wrong. They
clap like up and down, like put your hands up like you're about to go genie mode, and they're clapping like that, and it's adorable. And
also like their clothing, like it took you a while to notice this.
It took me till the end of the movie to notice that their clothes were slightly based off of the uniforms, and I didn't notice it. And you were in the back room, and I like yelled out, "Wait a minute!"
Funny thing too, so those costumes, those uniforms,
yeah,
they're hanging on a rack somewhere in Hollywood. I don't know. I've seen them twice now.
Really?
They showed up in a commercial about 10 years ago.
A commercial?
Literally, like, some sci-fi-ish telephone, cell phone service. I don't even remember what it was. I just, like, I looked at it like, no.
Oh, no.
They also show up at the very end of a film called John Dies at the End.
John dies at the end?
It's directed by Don Coscarelli, who did Phantasm, and it's based on the absolute best horror novels of the last decade.
Oh.
David Wong's John Dies at the End series, largely considered unfilmable. They're not wrong. Coscarelli did a brilliant job and gave it a good try, but yeah, they're unfilmable. But at the very end, like end credit stuff, like while the credits are rolling, after credit sequence, we get those uniforms again as weird people from a parallel world. So somehow those costumes are sitting on somebody's Hollywood rack.
They're connected. The worlds are connected. They needed money so bad they had to appear in a commercial.
Oh, once again, the clock is our enemy. And as I see us ticking ever so closer to the half-hour mark, this seems like a good place to stop the conversation. But there's still a lot more to talk about with Galaxy Quest. So, join us again midweek for part 2 of our discussion on the absolute best of all the Star Trek and sci-fi satires. We'll see you then.